Hello, Sporting Bet customers. This is Guillem Balague. You may have seen me once or twice on Sky Sports doing Spanish football. But today we're going to have a look at some of the games of the weekend, starting with the Premier League. By the way, it's been mentioned about some of the rooms I've been using to record these rough guides. Well, this is another one, because this is from my flat in Barcelona. Actually, it's been 2 amazing days. I had lunch with Toshak, Xavi Ferrer, Michael Laudrup, and I've been doing interviews for my book on Pep Guardiola. So just thought I'll name drop a little bit there. Anyway, let's get into the business of talking about the Premier League. And I've chosen some of the games that probably will be the most number of viewers. The biggest names of the weekend, starting with Newcastle versus Chelsea. And I still back Andre Villas-Boas. I still believe in what he's doing. I know that he's making mistakes like everybody else does when he's found with a new situation, a new club, a bunch of new players, and he doesn't know how they react. He's learning how they react now. You could say exactly the same of Jose Mourinho when he first arrived at Barcelona. I bet most of you that now just have decided that Villas-Boas is not the man for the job, but I've said after Barcelona beat Real Madrid 5-0 that Jose Mourinho wasn't the man for the job for Real Madrid. Look at Real Madrid now. I think we are talking about a quality coach that is going through a difficult time, and I do hope that he still believes in what he's doing and that he sticks to it. I do think, and I know, that the club is still behind him, and it's just a matter of time before they turn things around, and that, as we said earlier, will mean probably big decisions that will change the side. But in the meantime, they played Newcastle that have been unbeaten at home, and I think the fact that it's in the home ground of very passionate fans will balance a little bit the better quality of Chelsea. Although I've been very impressed by Guillem Balague this season. I like a lot in what he's doing. I like a lot some of the signings of Newcastle this season and what they bring in from France. But as I've got in my notes, Newcastle have not beaten any of the top 6 this season. But you can say almost the same about Chelsea. They've only won 2 of their 5 games against teams in the top half. Does that sound to you like a draw? Because it does sound to me like a draw. A high scoring draw, perhaps a 2-2 or something like that. You still don't see Chelsea keeping a clean sheet, and that is absolutely key for getting the points that Villas-Boas thinks they need to still challenge for the title. I think the title is gone, but they still got Valencia to meet in the Champions League, and of course the FA Cup. It could still be a good season for Chelsea, so be patient, some of you Chelsea fans. But what else can we have a look for Sporting Bet? How about Aston Villa versus Manchester United? And I've been told that the last 3 meetings at Villa Park have been a draw. It's not going to be the case, I don't think, in this instance. Manchester United come from getting a draw against Newcastle and being beaten by Crystal Palace. I'm not sure the analysis are right here, because it wasn't such an experimental lineup of Manchester United. It was very disappointing and very Manchester United-like performance. Even Sir Alex Ferguson said it himself. But when that happens, when Manchester United comes from a draw that probably they didn't deserve, Manchester United should have won, to a defeat as well, even in the Carling Cup, you see a giant herd, and you see a giant that will actually go and I think beat Aston Villa. And Aston Villa, that's in my eyes disappointing so far this season. They lack a little bit of, I don't know, spirit, mental strength, ambition. And against Manchester United, even though they're not playing the best football, you pay the price for that. So although we haven't seen a Manchester United scoring loads of goals recently, and I think I've got somewhere that they haven't scored more than 2 goals in a match since beating Aldershot 3-0 on October the 25th. That's a long time. I think they're going to do it here. 3-4 goals. I can see a high scoring performance from Manchester United, probably even a clean sheet by them. So that's what I think. What else? We've got on Saturday night a great game. Don't miss that one. Barcelona versus Levante. Xavi Ferrer will be in the studio, and well, what can we say about the performances of Barcelona at home? They're just perfect. They haven't conceded a goal, they've scored 30 odd, and you will expect something like that here. Why is Levante so good this season? Well, they know the limitations, they defend very compact, and they counter-attack very cleverly. And the problem in this case is that one of the key players in their side, Barquero, who links the midfield with the attack, decided to pick a 5th yellow in the previous game, so to miss this one, but to be available for the next one. Barcelona, on the other hand, they did struggle against Rayo the first 20-25 minutes. If you got the chance to have a look at that game, just look at those 20 minutes. I know it's not 90 minutes, but what Rayo did with Barcelona was brave, and of course the lack of quality meant the rest, and they lost 4-0, Rayo. But it was one way to actually attack and defend against Barcelona. We're going to see a completely different one here. Rayo pressured high up the pitch. In some cases, Barcelona were building from the back, and Rayo had 6 or 7 players in Barcelona's half. When Barcelona had the ball. Crazy. But it worked for a while. Levante are going to be defending like Getafe did. Very, very deep, very compact. Counter-attack behind the space led by the full-backs. You still think Barcelona will win, that they will actually win by a couple of goals perhaps, and that they probably won't concede. And then, you know, after that, there'll be the Clásico, of course. So keep an eye on that. We'll talk much more about that before the 10th of December. What else? Finally, a game that I am looking forward to seeing actually, Fulham versus Liverpool. I like what Martin Jol is doing with the side. It's very difficult to beat this Fulham. They defend really well. They've only lost 3 of 6 games against the top half sides, and the managing draws against Manchester City, Chelsea and Arsenal as well. So you can see how they can actually make life very difficult for Liverpool. A Liverpool side that I've got mixed feelings about it, because I don't see a team that dominates, and I'm not sure exactly what the style is, but they're getting the results, so there's no doubt that the targets have been met so far, and that players like Charlie Adams could fill the gap that Lucas is gonna leave with his absence. Key player Lucas Leiva. Do you remember all these fans that had a go at Rafa Benitez and Lucas at the beginning of his career with Liverpool? He was a 20-year-old, and already there was so many demands on his shoulders. There was a time when he wasn't enjoying football so much, but they looked after him because they saw the quality. They saw not just a guy that recovered lots of balls, a guy that probably didn't lose many balls either. Those stats were being branded all the time around when Lucas Leiva was struggling, but now you can see the importance to Liverpool and to the way they play. So Liverpool having to overcome that, not freely scoring, and despite the victories against Chelsea, may actually struggle here, or difficult to beat a side, as we said, that defend really well. So perhaps a draw, perhaps a 1-1 draw. Not many goals, I don't think. And that will be it, I think. Time to go for lunch with somebody else, with a big name in the history of football, I think. Tell you more next week. But if you want to see some of the pictures of this week, I just put them in Twitter, so have a look. And talk to you in Twitter, and send you another video in a few more days. Cheers, bye.